All right, what's going on, boys? Welcome in. It's me, Keg. It's Coop, back with another NASCAR Cup Series breakdown like we do every week. This week's race is at Richmond. It's the Toyota Owners 400, coming off another solid week. If you watched the show last week, I said that Coop went crazy basically on the show, and he lost his mind and said he was going to destroy the bookmaker. And I said it's time to take the rubber band off. And between me and Coop, we got there different ways last week, but we still made about 23 units profit. 2 weeks before that, we made 25 units profit on Sunday. So we are rolling, and today the live betting show is free at 3:15 on the Run Pure Bets YouTube channel. So check that out. Come cash some tickets with us, then subscribe to the live show. And with that, what's going on, my guy?
Not much, man. Just sitting here twiddling my thumbs, waiting for you to get ready. But
I had to make.
But I think based upon what I've heard from you on the DFS show, we're a little bit off of each other today, but not far off of each other. And I think we'll talk each other on to what we need to.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, quick recap of last week. What were your takeaways?
It was a road course, and we do well on the road courses. I think the fast cars showed up top, and we were on the fast cars, and it paid off. And like you said, we were not happy with the lines that the books were giving, and we kind of took it out on them. And I think this week there's some edge out there in certain markets that we can do the same thing.
So let me ask you a question. I thought it was really telling how much Chase Elliott struggled in that car, because he was so dominant, winning half the races here out of the last 12 road races. I think it tells you a lot about where some of these teams still are, even Hendrick sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, he was solid last week, ended up over top 5, but I don't think he had a race-winning car by any means.
Right. Where normally we've seen him, beat the field by 5 seconds. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, okay. I guess we'll start with the drivers that we think can win. The winning pool. You and I were basically in lockstep on the DFS show, with the exception of one guy, right? Well, actually 2. I'm higher on a little higher on Will Byron than you are this week, and I'm lower than you are on Martin Truex Jr., right? But that being said, I think that the winning pool, you also think this: Kyle Larson, Blaney, Chastain, Reddick, Harvick, Logano. And where maybe I would throw Byron in there, you would throw Marty in there, right? And Chris Bell.
Right. Right, exactly. I don't have much interest whatsoever in William Byron this week. There's actually a bet out there that I'm going to place against him. He didn't have great speed. He was 9th out of the 10 drivers who qualified, and then he was one of the first cars that went out, and took advantage of that position to get the speed that he ended up with. I expect him to drop back quickly. I don't look at Byron as a long run driver, which is what we're going to need today.
Yeah. So since 2017, there have been no more than 5 cautions in a race at this track, right? And you and I saw at Phoenix, there were only 3 leaders. Looked like clean air was king. It looked really hard to pass the leader. There were some passing in the top 15 that I think we saw a lot of, but to pass the leader was almost impossible at Phoenix. So, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was say track track position probably king today, right?
Yeah, I think we might see a little bit more passing of the leader today just because of the track. This track will eat up the tires more than Phoenix, so they have to manage the tires, and if they don't manage the tires, they will fall, back. So I think we could see if the leader isn't managing tires properly, some passes.
So, like Coop and I have been on all year, we've chased the speed, and it's worked for us, right? But Coop, I think the big question for most sports bettors today is, what do you do with Joe Gibbs Racing? Because while they've struggled this year, historically they have owned this track, and I think we're still going to chase the speed, right? Not the history.
I 100% agree with you. I am going to chase the speed, but I think that's why I kind of like Truex a little more than you, because I'm putting some history in on that too. I think his practice speeds were faster yesterday than what they've been at other tracks, which is encouraging. He spoke positively too about his car. So, I like Truex more than you. We both agree that it's Truex and Bell over Busch and Hamlin when you look at Gibbs, though.
Yep, totally agree. Let's talk about Hendrick. I think that the clear-cut class is Kyle Larson today. I was interested to know what you thought. We didn't really get into it. But a guy like Chase Elliott, right, who was literally the fastest car at Phoenix, but finished 11th, at least in terms of his long run green speed, right? So, and when you look at the chart, which was great find by you in this package, he's sitting ninth, and his average finish is like 12th with this trim. But I don't know. I kind of think that he's going to run well today. I think he's probably the second best Hendrick car, and then for me, and then probably Byron. What do you think about Chase Elliott today?
I would agree with what you said. I don't know if he's going to have race winning type of car. I think he could probably backdoor a top 5, but I would not be surprised if he finishes somewhere in the 7th to 10th range. Like I said in the DFS show, what was interesting to me was this is a long run track, and we only had 9 drivers go out and run long laps yesterday in practice, which tells me there's a lot of cars or a lot of drivers out there that are not happy with their cars because they chose to go in and do the work on the car versus run them long laps.
I think he was. Guys, I'm sorry. Continue.
He was, one of the ones that ran longer run. I think 20 was his most consecutive laps, and he was beaten out by Ricky Stenhouse, and Landon Castle wasn't far behind him. So, yeah, they can change things, but the outlook doesn't look good for Chase today.
So, I just lost my train of thought, and I wanted to ask you. Oh, yeah. I wanted to touch on also a tiny bit on DFS. I heard you say that you're going to be focused on dominators. At least 2, maybe 3 in one lineup, right?
2 to 4.
2 to 4 in one lineup.
And you got it. I think there's gonna be 2 main dominators. All right, and then there's gonna be 2 other drivers, possibly 3, who earn enough dominator points, to get them up into the 50, 60 point range. It all depends upon who it is and what their price is. But yeah, I'm much heavier on dominators in DFS than what I am place differential and solid finishing position.
So today, you're not against some lower level punts then to get 4 dominators in your lineup.
Right. I mean, the pricing is soft. So, depending upon who you take, may only need one to get four of them in there, but two at most. And then there'll be some where I don't have any of those ones down there because of the soft pricing.
Okay, now let's talk about Penske. I think you and I agree Ryan Blaney's been the best car all year. When it comes to this race specifically, I think that him and Joey Logano are a clear-cut level above Austin Cindric, but you did show some interest in Austin Cindric on the DFS show.
Yeah, I think he's a solid DFS punt, who should be lower owned. His long run speed here was good, but he's a risky play. He's starting 20th, which gives you some nice upside. The price makes him playable in that aspect. And, the other thing that, like I said, comes with risk is, this wasn't one of his better tracks when it comes to Xfinity. So, yeah, there's some risk, and I'm not going to go crazy with him. And, I'm not putting any bets out there on him by any means.
Right. All right. So, what?
I actually have one bet against him already.
In the outright market, obviously, you had your free bet that you had to use. You're a big Stuart Haas guy today because of anybody that's watched this show for the last year and a half knows that Coop buried Kevin Harvick, said he'll never win a race again, literally threw the dirt on his forehead. And Coop is a big Kevin Harvick guy today, and I'll tell you why. In this engine package, he's got the second best average finish of all cars, and he was the third fastest long run green flag speed at Phoenix. So, Coop, you think that if it all falls right for the closer, it could happen today?
Most definitely. He also has the second best pit team so far in this package at those tracks. So he showed good speed yesterday. He has solid history here too. And just take that gift where the Undertaker comes out of his coffin and put Kevin Harvick's face on there, and that's what we got going on, man. I got him at 16-1. We were talking, and it came down between him and Reddick. I chose Harvick over him gladly. I might start bearing him again next week. But this week, I'm all aboard the Kevin Harvick choo-choo train.
I like the call because 99% of people that if they have that free bet and they're trying to decide between Reddick and Harvick this year, everybody's on Reddick in this race, right? So I like the call. And my thoughts are he is not done. He's too good. So I'm here for it. I'm here for it today, Coop. I am not. He's in my winning pool. He's one of my 7 guys. So, all right. Top 3s and top 5s. Did you see anything that interests you?
Yeah, I have some interest in them. And I'm kind of playing off of them, and I'm going to treat it like how we do a group bet, and taking 2 drivers. And I just need one of them to finish in 3rd or 5th to pay off. And if both of them do, man, it's going to be a glorious day. I feel pretty confident that at least one of these 2 drivers will finish in the top 3. And I would not be surprised at the end of the day if both of them finish in the top 3, which also would put them in the top 5.
All right. So I'm going to guess that the 2 drivers are Ross Chastain and I think it's going to be either Reddick, Briscoe, or Harvick. I'm going to say Reddick.
All right, so this is where we're off. The 2 drivers are Martin Truex and Kevin Harvick.
Martin Truex, but he's minus 120.
On MGM, you can get him at plus 110 to finish in the top 5.
Okay.
That's part of the reason I like it because, like you just said, at the other books, he is a minus number. All right.
And what's Harvick?
Plus 180 at MGM for a top 5.
So you're basically breaking even if Truex wins. You'll make a little if Harvick gets there, or you'll cash both if they both get there.
Exactly. And I feel pretty confident that one of them will finish in the top 5, if not both of them.
Let's talk about Marty right now, because there is nothing that we have seen with him in this next gen car that would make you be interested in him today, right? Could we at least agree on that?
I mean, nothing prior to this week. He's finished some 7th to 13th in most races. I believe it was Las Vegas was the one race where he was very good. It was either that or Fontana, where he was up in the top 2 or 3.
I'm trying to get you to sell me on this guy today, but like I'm struggling.
I mean, I think the biggest thing, like you made the point that like they ran 30 laps yesterday, but after the 30 laps, you know, his speed kind of fell behind, you know, Larson and Harvick, and then obviously Blaney.
Right.
But I think, you know, the unknown that we don't know is what's going to happen at 40, 50, and 60 laps. And,
that's my biggest concern with any pre-race bet that we make, right? Like a real long run here is what, 80, 90 laps?
Yeah, 125 is what they have to go to pit for gas. So the first stage they won't pit.
So we know nothing about anybody's long run speed. 25 laps doesn't even mean anything.
Right. So to me, you know, he was good in the 30 laps that he did. All right. And based upon his history, you know, this is why I like him and Harvick so much. This is really a track where, you know, it comes down to managing those tires on them long runs and finding that groove and, you know, being able to be comfortable. And I think that's why I like him so much. You know, he showed me enough yesterday in practice that he's going to be a contender down there.
I agree with you that this track specifically and next week, I think will tell us a lot about Gibbs because of how dominant they usually are at these tracks. I don't know. You could be right. You could be right because tire management is one of those skills that translate no matter if you're in a next gen car or you're in an old car. You either know how to save tires or you don't. So I guess from that perspective, I understand why you're higher on Truex than me, but I'm not gonna lie, I will be surprised if he wins this race today.
So, and then, you know, the other bet was top 3. I put both of them in a top 3, and this has to do again with the price. What's he for top 3 at DK?
It's Truex 225, Harvick 4-1.
Right. So on FanDuel, you can get Truex at 280, and you can get Harvick at 550. So I mean, again, you know, I just need one of them.
Yeah, if one of them hits the top 3, that's great.
Right. And then the other thing too is if one of them gets a top 5, I'm not going to make any money, you know, off of you know, this, but it also covers, you know, the top 3 if that finishes a 4th or a 5th.
You know, another number I think is off. Kyle Larson is the same money to finish in the top 3 as Martin Truex, and I think that he's got a better chance to do it today than Truex, and he's plus 230.
So I don't hate that whatsoever. You know, I like Larson too.
All right, featured matchups and matchups in general. Is there anything that you hit on DraftKings or FanDuel?
Yeah, I placed one earlier in the week. Austin Dillon minus 120 over Austin Cindric. Dillon came out, was horrible yesterday. You know, so you know I'm stuck with it. It is what it is. I wouldn't, you know, make that bet today. You know, if I had to, I just liked Austin Dillon that much earlier in the week and disappointed yesterday. You know, so I have that.
can I ask you what do you think about Alex Bowman at plus 160 against Kyle Busch? That seems
it's a nice number. It seems excessive, like you were talking about, but I have no interest in betting them.
Doesn't that?
I don't have any confidence in them.
I don't have race winning confidence in him at all either. But I do think that's just there's value in that number. He should not be that high.
I agree. The other head-to-head that I made was Kevin Harvick at minus 112 over Alex Bowman on FanDuel. I actually threw 2 units down on this because I feel that confident that Harvick's going to win it. It's going to take an act of God, a bad pit stop, a penalty, mechanical failure, in my opinion, for Harvick to lose this. He's won 6 of the last 7 against Bowman here. And the minus 112 is crazy. That number's gone now. It's at minus 126. I would still, consider taking that minus 126. And then the last head-to-head that I did, it involves, like I talked about William Byron earlier. On DK, William Byron is a minus 115 favorite over Joey Logano, who's minus 105. I like Logano in this matchup. He's a better long-run driver. He has better history here. The only thing that's lacking, all right, is the speed that we were talking about. And if you look at the 30-lap runs, 25-lap runs that were done yesterday, Logano got better and better and better on every 5-lap segment. So I think he's going to have a good long-run car. And, I like I said, I don't have much confidence in Byron staying in the top 5, even the top 10 today.
I think Joey Logano could win this race today.
Well, I do too. So that's why I like, Logano over Byron. There's no way in my mind. I mean, do you think that William Byron should be favored over him?
No, I don't. I think that Coop told me about this bet that he liked a couple of days ago, Harvick over Bowman, and I tailed him on it at minus 112. I think it's a really strong bet. I would be surprised if Harvick doesn't win that. So I tailed Coop on that. I endorse it. I think everybody, if you could find, I'm not going to lay 130 because I got it early with right. When you first mentioned it. But I do think it's a winner if you guys could find a lower line than minus 126.
And you mentioned that Bowman. I think Bowman's like a 175 plus 175 now on DK in that matchup against Busch. Like you quoted a 140 in the article or in the Discord last night. I think it's gotten
that better. Is absurd. Plus 170 beat one guy that, with the exception of one race, hasn't been relatively strong this year. I mean, that's like a no-brainer value. You hit the button on that.
Right. But, like I don't feel like last week I did that. And for 67 of the 68 laps, man, I was really happy because, we had AJ Allmendinger at plus 210 over Chase Elliott. And we beat him every freaking lap of the race except for that last one, which counted.
Unbelievable. And you know what's crazy, though? I thought I lost that bet when that happened, but Chris Bell ended up beating Elliott, so I ended up getting that group home.
Oh, yeah. So what head-to-head do you like? Because I think there's one out there that you said you had, Larson.
I bet I beat only because I think Kyle Larson, if you said, give me 2 people that win the race today, it would be Blaney and Larson. I think one of those 2 guys wins. But obviously, Blaney's pit crew has to be flawless. But I think if it is, one of those 2 guys win. And I think he's going to be better than Truex. So I got him at minus 105 in a heads-up matchup against Marty. Now it's minus 110. I think there's value there because We haven't seen Kyle Larson priced like this in almost 2 years. And I think that they're jumping the shark a little bit now. They're forgetting about this kid.
So obviously, I don't mind, and I agree with Kyle Larson head-to-head, but I disagree with you on going up against Martin Truex. I like, so who do you like more in this race? Martin Truex or Chase Elliott?
Based on history, I would say Martin Truex. Based on the data, I would say Chase Elliott.
Because like when you first mentioned that, I was wondering who it was against, and looked and figured it out that it could have been against Truex. But like Kyle Larson's a -115 against Chase Elliott on DK.
What concerns me, Coop, is how good that car was at Phoenix.
Right.
That's my big concern here. Let's talk about stage one. What do you have stage one odds yet?
I do.
All right, so we could see how many laps is it to the end of stage one?
70.
I mean, could there be a caution? Yeah, of course there could, but they could easily go 70 laps here at green once they get spread out easily.
Oh, yeah. So even if there's a caution, like say there's a caution on lap 10, do you think they're going to pit? Probably not.
No. What do you? They got Blaney. I'm seeing Blaney plus 320. Byron.
Where's that at?
DK. I mean, bet 365.
Do you not have DK yet?
No, I don't have stage one on DK. I didn't last week either.
Oh, because I have it on DK.
And what is he?
500.
Oh, did you bet it?
Not yet. I wanted to talk to you about this, and who you thought was going to win.
This is the time. Think about it. There's a chance that Ryan Blaney's pit crew doesn't come into this. I think at that, just that alone, we know he's had the best car on the track. Just that alone tells me you got to take the shot at 5-1. Because
I definitely will. But do you think there's anybody who can beat him in stage one?
Let me see the grid. All right, we got Ryan Blaney and Byron in row 1, Busch and Briscoe in row 2, Marty and Jones row 3, Harvick and Chastain row 4. I mean, here's the thing, Coop. If they go green for 70 and Harvick or Truex or Briscoe or Busch, if their car turns on at lap 40, they could easily start picking cars off and get there by the end, based on what we saw yesterday, if that means anything. Man, I wish Joey was up there, but he's not. He's starting 11th. I don't know. What do you think? It's so hard to tell who's going to have 25 laps doesn't mean anything. Yeah, I mean, okay, Ryan Blaney was the fastest. Larson was 100th of a second behind him. Harvick was 100th of a second behind him. Joey was about a 10th. And then that's it. I mean, we have no data at all on a lot of these cars and how they're going to run.
So, from a long, if Blaney's going to get past, it's going to be on the long run. I don't think he's going to happen on the short run. So, out of those drivers, who do you like on the long run?
What do you think about Chase Briscoe at 10-1? He's been fast.
Yeah, I don't have any interest in Briscoe today. His mindset isn't there. If there was one bet I would make on him, it would be this, because his thing was, I'm not that great here. When I tell the team to make changes that I think need to be made, they make the changes, and then we get worse. I don't think Briscoe is one of those drivers after 50 to 60 laps that he can manage his tires. Yeah, he had a very good long run at Phoenix, but the tires don't wear at Phoenix like they wear here.
All right, so what I would say is this. I think you have to take Will Byron because maybe he jumps out there and he doesn't get caught.
But based upon the speed that Blaney showed yesterday in practice and the speed that he's shown all year,
right,
and based upon what you saw in the Xfinity race yesterday,
right,
there was no driver who started on the outside that even was remotely close to passing the leader on any restart.
True. Now, I don't know how much of it was because of how strong Gibbs was. I don't know, but that's true. You're right. Okay, so what I would say is probably if Ryan Blaney's going to get beat, it's going to be because some car turns on at lap 40 and starts picking cars off the last 30 laps. So at that point, I think you're looking at taking shots like Ross Chastain and Kevin Harvick. What are their odds?
Chastain's 1,000, Harvick's 1,400.
So I would probably say Blaney, Chastain, and Harvick if you were going to take 3 shots.
Man, you really hate Martin Truex today.
I do. I don't like him, Coop, because the guy. What have you done for me lately? I mean, Martin Truex Jr. has been getting a pass by me and you. We're talking about Harvick. We're talking about Jimmy Johnson. We're talking about Kyle. Truex has been fucking awful. It would surprise me. I'm in that show me first mode with Martin Truex. Show me first. And then maybe I'll consider backing you in some pre-race spots. But you at least got to show me. Because I'll tell you something, Coop. That fucking kid that looks like he's 6 years old is taking somebody's job on that team. And right now, it's not going to be Chris Bell. So
he's the safest one out of those drivers, actually.
Yeah, you're looking at Marty, Kyle Busch, or Denny, and probably because Kyle's going to lose Mars, maybe it'll be Kyle Busch, but I don't know. It could be Marty. It could easily be Marty.
Yeah, I agree. He's taking one of the 3 of them.
Yeah.
So I'll have to think about that. Stage 1. Because, my heart's on Blaney, Truex, and Harvick.
Okay. Yeah, but, so I'm there. I'm there with you, except I would probably take Chastain over Truex. That's all.
Right. All right. What else we got going?
Man, I might have to fucking send you money to bet it for me. Jesus Christ, 5-1. That is
what do y'all get on? What's the other numbers on 365?
I got Vic Harvick at 14-1 and Chastain at 12-1.
All right, so Chastain's a little bit better. He's at 10-1 on DK. What's Truex?
8-1.
So they're really favoring Blaney.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, what about the groups? The first thing that stuck out at me when I was looking at the groups was, wow, I can't believe Elliot and Larson are plus 250 in a group.
Uh-huh.
That's unbelievable. But I thought that they did a really good job of mixing two drivers in that could win most groups. And the third one, like here, Group B, right? Group B on DK, Will Byron, Ross Chastain, Joey Logano, Tyler Reddick. I think that Chastain, Reddick, and Logano could all win that group.
Mm-hmm. I agree with what you said, that the groups are tougher this week, but where they didn't do well is, in my opinion, the top manufacturers.
Well, I'm not going to say that I disagree with that point, but I am going to say that the numbers that we got last week on those kids are long gone. They're 5-1 now, which is
they're very well true. But all right, so let's look at this. So if you pull up MGM, they have a group that's basically the Gibbs cars. It's got Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Bell, and Truex.
So you think Bell and Truex?
And I think Bell and Truex. And I think Bell is at 300 and Truex is at plus 250. But if you go to top Toyota, all right, you can get Chris Bell at plus 425.
Oh,
so
wow.
Why would I take that? Why would I take that bet in a group when I can go to the top Toyota, basically have the same bet and get Bell at a better number and Martin at the same number?
I mean, I said on the earlier show, I thought Bell plus 300 was at DK. Mm-hmm. 425 is a really good number, bro.
Right. And his number didn't get cut like you said those Chevys did. Last week, he was plus 450 to win the top Toyota. I hit it. He was the top Toyota. So he lost a quarter this week. Where those Chevys, they lost, like $5, $6, $7.
What do you think?
I'm going to bet top Toyota, Truex, and Bell.
What is Truex?
250.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind it. I have 425 at BetMGM on Bell. I'm probably going to throw a little change on that. I think he should be the best. I think that price on Chevy at plus 375 for Larson, best price I think we've seen in a while, or plus 380. I think that he has a very good chance to be the best Chevy today. I mean, a Chastain at 6-1, Reddick at 6-1, I think is interesting. But you couldn't bet three of them. You could only bet two of them. And one of them's going to be Larson, definitely, at plus 380. I'm taking that. Who would your second?
This is the other bet I'm making, and you hit it spot on. All right. So Kyle Larson, I'm taking at 375. I've already talked to you about what I feel is Chase Elliott, 7th to 10th place car, William Byron outside of top 10. Tyler Reddick's kind of wild card. He's been strong all year, but he wasn't good in practice, which doesn't mean he's going to be bad, today. But, it doesn't look like it. Bowman, I don't think, has a chance. So I'm going to take Chastain and pair him with Larson. And
see now,
two of them are the top Chevys.
So you and I didn't talk about that bet all week, and we land on the same fucking thing. That's a smash spot. That's a take the rubber band off. I'm taking.
The thing with Chastain is
he's had the second best car. He's been the best Chevy on the track this year, no doubt.
Plus, the other piece is he has some good Richmond results from prior years where he's gotten top 10s, and has a much better car this year than what he has had in any of those top 10 results. So, I think you got to take him into consideration to where he could be the top Chevy. And then I think there's a clear cut between Larson and Chastain, and I think after that it's kind of a drop off.
Totally agree.
Top Chevy.
Totally agree with you. I think my three favorite cars probably, like I think Larson and Ryan Blaney and Chastain and Harvick, those four cars, I think are in a block by themselves this week, and everybody else comes after that, in my opinion. I know you're higher on Marty than I am, but I kind of feel like that's where I'm at. I think those are my four favorite cars. But then, like you said, you can't. Doesn't matter what Tyler Reddick did in practice. Can't count that kid out. He's had a great car all year. Like you mentioned, Cole Custer or Chase Briscoe has shown some speed this year, but I don't know. Today it could be slightly more difficult for him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
What else? What else are you looking at? What about Ford?
I cannot do Ford because we already know I love Harvick.
Joey and
right. I can't do it because the gap between Joey is much closer, than what it is for a third Chevy, in my opinion.
Yep.
And the number isn't enough for me to be able to bet three drivers. So I'm just staying away from it.
Totally.
It's kind of like the groups that you were talking about. Like, there's three contenders there, and I can't bet three. I can only bet two, and I'm not going to take my chances of hitting the right two.
Let me get your opinion on some stage one matchups. Chase Briscoe -120, Ross Chastain -110.
I'll take Chastain.
Yeah, I agree. Elliot and Hamlin both -110.
Pass.
Logano and Larson both -115.
Logano.
Kyle Busch and Marty's -105. You would like that bet.
Yep. And the reason I say Logano over Larson is because 10 spots is a lot to make up.
I agree. Totally agree.
Nothing against Kyle Larson whatsoever.
Ryan Blaney -125 against Will Byron.
I don't like the number, but I feel pretty confident that Blaney's going to beat him.
Did you bet? You sent me an interesting prop. You were like the winning car under 11.5 or something like that.
Yeah, the winning car, they have that on MGM this week. It's under their race props where it's under 8.5, under 10.5, then like 15.5, 20.5, blah, 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 blah. And I really liked the 10.5 at the beginning of the week, but I can't do it now because, that involved Chase Elliott, who kind of disappointed. And it involved Austin Dillon, and I was looking at him from an outside, hey, you never know. Look at what happened this year. He could win, but his car wasn't good. So it really just leaves me with Ross Chastain, which is really good number. Kyle Larson, real good, and Kevin Harvick. That's why I was thinking if I could have all five of them who could possibly win, I really like that. But now I only have three.
Just a reminder to people watching, the show is free today. You don't have to be a subscriber to the Keg Live show. So go to Run Pure Bets today, the YouTube channel, at 3:15, and we will be live trying to hunt the winners. One more matchup, Coop, that I just saw that I like, as long as the pit crew is okay. Ryan Blaney in a heads-up matchup this week with Will Byron at -110. I mean, Blaney's car this year has been so much better than Will Byron's. Mm-hmm. It's just that fucking pit crew. But man,
is that on 365?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? What's the price? Is that price gone?
Oh, I don't know. I don't have 365, so.
Let me see if DK has it.
They have Ryan Blaney against Chris Bell. Let me ask you this.
Don't get me wrong. I'm higher on Will Byron today than you are. But I still think Blaney at -110. I might have to put that. That might be a play on the sheet. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Denny Hamlin -120 against Chastain +100.
I like Ross.
Is that a sucker bet?
No, because here's the thing, Coop. That's how we open both of these shows. The decision you have to make today is, what do you do with Gibbs? I am throwing them out. I'm saying, give me Tyler Reddick at +110, heads up against Denny Hamlin on DK right now. Give me Ross Chastain at even money against Denny. I'm throwing Gibbs out unless the race dictates you and I have to get on Gibbs. Other than that, I'm throwing him out.
I'm already on Truex, so.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but you're not on. You don't have an outright win on Truex.
No.
I'm talking about the outright market. Before we go, I just want to run a couple DFS questions by you. Your two favorite dominators today are who?
Blaney and Harvick.
Your two favorite mid-tier guys are who?
Like mid-tier, like price range, I guess is what you're asking?
Yeah.
And that goes from what price range?
Like 8K to like 9.5 usually, right?
Okay. I mean, Bowman's going to be up there, but I'm going to have some Bowman. I'm not going to be heavy on him now.
Chastain's 8.9.
Yeah, Chastain, but see, that's the thing. Like Chastain, Harvick, and Truex, they're starting like 6th, 7th, and 8th. Like, I think 2 of them can get the job done, but I don't know if all 3 of them can get the job done as far as getting dominator points. So that's where I'm at with those 3. I don't know if I mean, like Harvick, is in that range. Logano's in that range. Chris Bell's in that range.
So are you treating this like the 3 or 4 guys that you bet today, like the dominator guys? You're taking 3 or 4 guys that you think can win this race today and could lead laps and will contend for the win.
Correct. And hope that I hit the right ones. But that's the thing. Like, the more you put, the more of them that you put in one lineup, the harder it is to achieve that.
Right.
That's why I think 3 is the right number. But then, like I said, Blaney, yes, I think he's a given. But then you have to choose 2 of the 3 between Harvick, Truex, and Chastain. And then you can't throw out Logano either.
Right. Favorite guy, two favorite guys under 8K.
2 favorite guys under 8K. I like Stenhouse. He's showed good long run speed. He has some top 20s here. I think he's a good pivot off of Ty Dillon. And I like AJ Allmendinger down in that range. If you're playing a bunch of lineups, I don't mind taking shots at Justin Haley and him being able to get his lap back or 2 laps. But I would probably say Stenhouse.
Finally, your favorite punt.
Stenhouse.
Wow, so Stenhouse is the punt at 6,500. So that kind of tells you where you're at today. All right.
I just think, there's so many people that are going to go to Ty Dillon, and Ty Dillon's back there because he was slow. And he's gained a lot of spots in these other races from attrition and being fast, and he wasn't fast.
Our guy Viral Video in the chat said, live Sunday show feeds me for the week. Viral, are you a subscriber? I never see you in the chat. Well, I hope you will be after this week. Jim Parrish says he would like to know thoughts on Almirola.
I talked about him on the DFS show. I think he has top 5 upside. I don't know if he has a lot of dominator upside. There's a chance that he could always do that. But I think for Almirola to succeed, you're going to have to see 2 dominators who really dominate. And then, he gets up into the 5th, 4th position somehow and gains a couple of extra place differentials and has a good solid finish. He's kind of like I said with Christopher Bell on the DFS show, where Bell is really hard, in my opinion, to play because his price, I think, is $1,000 more. And he needs them dominator points because I think there's going to be 4 or 5, 6 drivers who score like 50, 60, 70 points. Like, I don't think Almirola is a dominator, in my opinion.
Right.
Do you consider him a dominator? No.
No. Did the playbook ever get figured out on RPI?
Yeah, I put an emoji sign in there.
Oh, it was the poop emoji sunk the whole website, Coop.
Yeah. I was like, I did that before, man, and nothing happened. And like Captain was like, well, maybe it was the shit emoji that does it. They don't like it or whatever. But that was the reason. So I won't be using any emojis anymore.
All right, boys, everybody come and hang out. 3:15. Last Sunday, 22 units. 2 Sundays before that, 25 units. Yesterday, 9 units. The fucking show is a monster. Coop and I crush. I hope you guys come and hang out. I hope you win, and then I hope you join. 3:15 over on the Run Pure Bets YouTube channel. It's me. It's Coop. It's NASCAR. It's the winners. We'll see you then. Later.